Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, stories from the 78 at Val's Halla, a staple here in the Oak Park community and a staple here in the record store community. Been around for a long time. They have roots going back to John Prine and playing some of his first records. Record Store Day is this Saturday. Shayne, who's been working here for like most of his life, has some great stories to tell, as well as some fantastic Record Store Day finds. That is a story from the 78 here in Oak Park. Since 1972, Val's Halla has been a record store in this location since 2006. And I'm here with one of the local historian and manager, Shayne. How are you, Shayne?
I'm all right.
Thanks for having me. Happy Record Store Day week. Do you love Record Store Day, or is it one of those days where you're like, you just got to get through it because you're here on every other day besides Record Store Day?
Sure. A lot of both.
Yeah?
It's the most fun day of the year. It's also the most exhausting.
I bet.
They go hand in hand, and I usually leave so tired, but also thrilled that I have to call my mom and be like, "It was so good." You know? Yeah.
Right on. And people are lined up all the way down the street.
Ideally, they better be. Yeah.
Right. But things that are a little different than maybe in years past. You guys offer, before we get into the music and everything else, right up here up front, you guys have your own beer now. You have your own coffee that you sell here. That's something that's newer in the last, couple of years?
Yeah, end of last year, actually.
Yeah.
Like around about the holidays, we opened the cafe serving dark matter, which is fantastic, and music themed, which is wonderful. Got the liquor license so we can actually, really, make a dent in our live performances after hours. And of course, Kinslager has made an honorary Val's Helles that was so popular after our 50th anniversary that they kept it going.
Very cool. And the stage right over to my right, where you have these performances. You did something with XRT not that long ago, I believe, on that stage. But that's kind of what you guys are all about. You guys are in the community, locally with the radio station XRT. You've done a lot of collaborations with them.
Yeah.
But
we share a birthday.
You share a birthday. I didn't know that.
1972, yeah.
Fantastic. And one of the other collabs I wanted to talk about, or maybe not a collab, but it's just part of the history, is the one with John Prine. And I know you have some stuff over here.
Yeah.
You want to explain a little bit of the history with John Prine?
Sure, I'm happy to. So we were, if not the one of the first stores that ever stocked his album. And he and Val were friends, and he would bring his test pressings in to stand there and wait for her opinion.
Really?
No pressure, right? And as famous as he got, in his career, never forgot it. Would send stuff. His family, like his brothers and cousins, would come and perform and bring pizza.
Wow.
And then after Val passed in 2018, and I was trying to figure out if I could even pay myself week to week and holding down the fort, phone rings and it's Oh Boy Records. And John was insisting on doing this in-store with us to honor Val. So that's me and my mom with John in 2019, shortly before he passed himself.
Wow. That says something about the legacy of this record store for sure.
Just last night, I was at an event. They were showing the movie that he did, the concert at Proviso, kind of mixed with documentary footage, and his wife and the brothers were there talking about it, and it was really sweet. Yeah, I felt Val very strongly. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. And as far as the record store itself, I mean, we'll get into the Record Store Day, but you have the live performances, and then you just have your collection of music. What does it speak to in terms of what you offer the record community here in Chicago and Oak Park?
Anything and everything.
Yeah.
My main thing is I don't like the cliche of the snobby record store guy that's just like, oh, you like that? Barf, or you're nobody has anything that they should be embarrassed to ask me for.
What are some?
I like it all, and I'll stock it all.
What are some of the things that are some of the more popular things for the younger audience and also maybe an older audience?
I mean, obviously Taylor Swift pays the rent,
Yeah.
but at the same time, the war horses never stop. Fleetwood Mac rumors every day.
Really? Every day?
Every day.
That surprises me just every day. I mean, they are a great band, for sure.
For sure, but it's evergreen. It's like everyone has to get their first copy of Dark Side of the Moon, and then their parents need to get their 50th copy of Dark Side of the Moon. It lives on. Recently, I'm still trying to figure it out why the kids have picked up on Marty Robbins' Gunfighter ballads.
Really?
It's a fantastic record. I'm still trying to figure out, I'm like, okay, what TikTok video happened that is making us sell this as regularly as we are?
Well, that's kind of what happened with the band The Deftones.
Yeah.
TikTok picked them up, and all of a sudden they're headlining a show at the United Center again.
Yeah,
in 2025.
Yeah, again, always cool, but recently, big resurgence, and yeah, their fame has risen.
And as far as your record store day collection, you guys have a bunch. I mean, you have a ton up that will be available on Saturday, and you have a couple that you pulled out here. You want to run through some of these?
We maybe sort of a little overdid it, and we got more on the way even today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. A number of them that are really highly sought after. The Wicked, Charlie XCX. We got as many as we could possibly get, but it's going to be a battle in the line here, trying to get stuff like that and this. I know some people are going to be queued up for it. Trevor could not be more excited about the OVO. Peter Gabriel. For me, I don't even know if you put it on the list over here, but for me, the only thing that matters is Dolores O'Riordan. I'm the biggest Cranberries fan on the planet, and it's the last thing of hers that has not been released on vinyl. So I can finally get to complete my collection. Yeah.
And then I was noticing this, such a random thing to come out.
Yeah,
but
timely.
Now it makes a very timely sense, right?
Sadly timely, yes, the Val Kilmer.
His first movie and soundtrack. Trevor mentioned this album is another big one that people will be after for record stores.
Yeah, this is sort of new to me because his son, Jackson, who works here, kind of hipped us to Ngozi and the whole family of this. And it's this kind of funky African, like I was not familiar with it, and he was actually in school in Germany when that last release came out, and we were just selling the crap out of it by playing it on the stereo.
Oh, yeah?
It wasn't that necessarily people were beating down the door for it, but once we played it, they were like,
it's like that, It's like that scene in High Fidelity where he says album to now sell 12 copies of the Beta Man. What is the album that you wanted to talk about?
I can go right to it.
Yeah, let's
you
go
better
check
believe
it
that.
out. So this is the holy grail of record store day releases that you got going on over here, huh?
Yes, this is the one that matters to me. This is Dolores O'Riordan.
And why does it be outside of what you just said? Was it just more about wanting to have the complete collection?
Yeah, well, they're my favorite band, period. I actually proposed to my now ex-wife at their reunion concert and got them to dedicate our song to us.
Really?
Like at the show. And it was a whole act of Congress to make that happen, pulling every string I could muster. And then when she actually passed, Dolores, I was visiting my friend in New York. And as soon as we got up from the subway and I had phone service, it turned beet red. And it was even customers that were texting and calling me. I don't know how they got my phone number, just to check in and make sure that Shayne was okay. So, so yes, it's very deeply personal to me.
And is there any other hidden gems you got back there you want to toss out?
Oh gosh, there's so many things. I'm also very excited about. It's in here somewhere.
I love we're just getting like total behind the scenes look here. And these things are not available until...
This one Trevor and I will all definitely agree on is the Belly, which might be on my list. That's one of his favorites as well. This one, I think, people didn't understand when they saw it on the list and are going to see it and go, oh.
Let's see it.
The Rock-afire Explosion.
Wow.
The Showbiz Pizza Band.
Is that the Showbiz Pizza Band?
Yes.
That's awesome.
I'm guessing people saw the list and just scrolled past and didn't even comprehend what they were looking at. Come on, you can't look at that and not want it, right?
That's fantastic. Yeah, it'll give you all the nightmares from when you were a kid and all the pleasant memories.
Yeah. The original Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you've worked here for a long time. What's your connection with the store for folks that might not know?
So yeah, I've been here now about 24 years. Mm-hmm. I worked at a music store in Michigan. It was still CD era at that point, and basically at the time, my car died. My girlfriend broke up with me. They closed the shop, and my grandfather died and left me some money. And it was like, that's the universe saying, get out.
Yeah.
It's time to go.
That's a song you just described.
Correct. It's a country song. And so, yeah, I decided, you know what? I want to be John Cusack. I'm going to move to Chicago and have a record store there. And it was kind of, applying at Reckless and places like that, and what was really happening. And how I got here, my banker in Logan Square was like, so what do you want to do while you're here? And I'm like, well, I kind of want to work at a record store again. That's been my thing. She said, oh, you got to go meet my friend Val. And sent me from Logan Square out to Oak Park, and I applied there. 2 months later, I got called in for part-time work, and the other 2 employees put in their 2 weeks notice, and that day I became full-time.
And that was what year?
Early 2000s-ish.
So it's been a while.
Something, yeah. And then, Val and I moved to this location in 2006, just the 2 of us, and it was kind of that until she passed.
And here we are. You guys do a lot of collaborations with like the Zachary Hotel, where you supply their turntables in their rooms. You've had listening parties at Subterranean. I think you got another one coming up as well, right?
Yeah.
Always some coming up.
Yeah, I'm not even privy to half the things that we're doing these days. We have a lot of programming going on.
Can you talk about one of the hidden gems in the store, I think, is the listening booth back there?
Oh, the Sounderator, yes.
Let's go check that out.
So the story of this was Val's father's fridge, like prior to even the early 60s.
Okay.
He would keep his homemade prosciutto in it, and it became the store fridge for the decades since.
Sure.
And while it technically worked, your sandwich would still be a little bit under room temperature. It would flood the store once a week, and it was grody, and I was over it.
Okay.
So when Trevor bought the store in 2019, and discussing with me like, okay, what stays, what goes, how much character needs to remain, and I'm like, I'm actually over the fridge. Like, I'm done with it. No problem. Hauls it out. 2 months later, he comes hauling it back in, and I'm like, sir, we had an agreement here. I never wanted to see that thing again. That should be on the top of a landfill. And he converted it into a sit-in listening lounge, which takes requests.
So music comes out right there. You kind of hang out down there. So is it still a love-hate thing, or now is it all love?
It's all love. And it relieved me of the guilt of having thrown away something of Val's history.
And one of the other things from Val's history at the old location that was brought over here was the shrine to Elvis, right?
I already knew where you were going with that, yes. The only question we were ever asked when we moved was, are you bringing the Elvis shrine?
So explain a little bit of the Elvis shrine. Like, how did it become to be?
So I'm not sure what year, maybe in the 80s, former employee Mike Beyer, seen here actually, there's the old shrine. The original location, we had a non-functioning bathroom in the back with no fixtures that we didn't know what to do with. And Mike was like, Val, we lost him in the bathroom. It's only right that we honor him there. And she's like, okay. And he built this Elvis shrine, and it became a kind of a phenomenon, and people would come visiting for it. And a lot of like impersonators would show up and want to sign things.
Really?
Like it was a thing. Yeah, it was on Wild Chicago a couple of times. And then, when we were moving here, they were like, you're bringing the shrine. And it's like, well, we don't have an abandoned bathroom, so we're going to have to use the real one. Like, we would not open the doors until we got this thing going.
And here we are.
Yep.
Let's take one little peek out here, but what are your hours, and specifically, what are your hours for Record Store Day?
Our general hours are 11 to 7 throughout the week, closed Wednesday, 11 to 5 Sunday. Record Store Day this Saturday, we'll be opening at 8. We're actually opening a little bit early. We usually do 9.
Okay.
And the line is probably going to start today. Like, people are going to start queuing up, like, almost any minute now. Yeah.
Okay. And can people look up online what will be available for Record Store Day, or is it kind of just, how does it work if, like, folks are, or is there just, like, a general
I mean, you can
list?
see the Record Store Day list. If people call and they're like, did you get X? I'm happy to tell you. Yes, and I give you an idea, like, okay, we got 3, so plan accordingly. I have no problem doing that.
Cool.
I can't hold anything, but
Sure.
at least give you an idea of your odds.
Well, thank you so much for giving me a little tour of Val's. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
And a happy Record Store Day and beyond.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, that is the story from the 78 here at Val's Halla in Oak Park. TomBarneyChicago@gmail.com if you have a story from the 78 suggestion, or head over to the website, storiesfromthe78.com. Be sure to come out here for Record Store Day and any other day, really, for some great vinyl find in Oak Park.